Guest star Greg Farrell. Thanksgiving Friend Fest, everybody. Thanksgiving Friend Fest. Erving Goffman defined dramaturgical sociology and depicted 3 stages in which he believes people involve themselves in his book The Presence of Self in Everyday Life, using the metaphor first presented by William Shakespeare that all the world is a stage and all the men and women merely players. It is within these stages that we are able to explain why people act the way they do in certain situations. To better understand Goffman's perspective, we must see how Goffman pictures the individual self. He writes, "The self itself does not derive from its possessor, but from the whole scene of his action." It is from his idea of the self that he develops the idea of being part of a team or teams. Goffman describes a teammate as someone whose dramaturgical cooperation is dependent upon fostering a given definition of the situation. Essentially, Goffman believes that the self or a teammate is dependent upon the people around him or her, along with the environment in which the interaction takes place. This brings us back to Shakespeare and Goffman's original idea of the world simply existing as a theater, and that we are merely performers and audiences in our everyday lives which partake in Goffman's 3 different stages: front stage, backstage, and off stage. Front stage occurs when a person is actively and consciously partaking in a fixed performance. Any teammates or other actors involved even slightly in the performance must also be informed to play along. In order for a person to act, it is essential that there is an audience to judge the performance. The person must also believe in his or her role in order to play a convincing part.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
Where you going?
Party at John's.
Oh, you think I could go?
Probably not, dude. Don't mess with the ratio.
The backstage occurs when performers are present without an audience. This allows the performers to step out of character because of the fact that the audience is no longer present. Although there are no written scripts, the performers can still be acting to a certain extent.
Alright, you guys wait outside. I gotta talk to Jordan. Yo, Jordan, tell me, hey, I'm sorry, but I'll make it up to you, but I gotta go. Like, I'm trying to get it in home, so you know.
Yeah, alright. I have other shit to do anyways.
Alright, so we're good?
Yeah, man.
The offstage occurs when there is no performance or audience at all. This can but does not have to involve dialogue. If dialogue is involved, it is intrapersonal. It could simply occur in the person's thoughts. In this stage, there is true sincerity and no scripts are being read.
Fuck. Can't fucking believe he would do that. He's my freaking roommate. Thought he was my best friend.
Goffman's dramaturgical theory, along with his 3 stages, provide a true understanding of the roles we play in relation to each other. The self, in his mind, is not simply an individual, but someone who socially interacts as part of a team. The environment, audiences, and performers have a direct connection to the stage in which one is relating to. As Goffman describes this, the theater becomes an outstanding metaphor for explaining dramaturgical theory.